everyone, welcome back. It's Wednesday the 6th. This week is just about finished already. Time is flying, right? I hope everyone had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. So let's jump into the news. Sorry I haven't been on here. Wasn't intentional. I planned to make a video yesterday and there was not enough hours in the day. I'm sure everyone can relate. So we were talking, and I think I reported, well, I know I reported back last year, 2022, that auto repossessions were roughly 15,000 a day, not a month, a day. Well, now we are up to between 30 and 35,000 auto repossessions across the United States in a day. I thought this was quite interesting to be repossessing people's vehicles by a robotics. Yes, robotics. Isn't that crazy? Let's pull up this article. The next auto repossession wave can involve robots doing the work for you, for the banks. For consumers default on credit card and auto loan payments, financial strain intensifies as the Federal Reserve interest rate hiking campaign stands a 2-decade high, potentially leading to a surge in vehicle repossessions. A recent Moody's report showed new credit card delinquencies hit 7.2% in the second quarter, up from 6.5% in the first quarter. As for new auto loans delinquencies, the rate topped 7.3% compared with 6.9% in the first quarter. So that tells us right there that more and more people are not being able to pay their bills. Moody's expect new credit card and auto loan delinquencies to continue rising materially through the rest of the year and top sometimes in 2024 at 9% and 10% compared with 7% Okay. The increase in delinquencies and defaults is symptomatic of the tough decisions these households are having to make right now, whether to pay their credit card bills, their rent, buy groceries. Mark Zandi, chief economist of Moody Analytics, told the Washington Post. So this is serious. You know, we were talking last 2022 that we were going to start to see this as it was trickling down and inflation was rising. People were being laid off. Jobs had to shutter during the scamdemic. And now we're starting we're just getting started per se, right? Because Fed Powell said he's going to continue to raise the interest rates. There's no pivoting in course. Stock market was down the other day. We're only getting started at this dance, and it's not going to be pretty. A weakening labor market and tapped out consumers, some of whom have 1,000 monthly auto payments, finding difficult to pay not just shelter costs but food on the table, but service their car payments. We've outlined in readers that last 3 quarters, massive wave of car repossession and loan defaults to trigger auto market disasters crippling. Obviously there is more to this article, but I want to talk more. These articles will be linked down in the description box for your reference. This is Farmers Insurance, and everybody knows who Farmer Insurance is. Lays off 2,400 employees in the name of long-term profitability. So 2,400 insurance agencies across the United States will be let go or have been let go. So what this article tells you is that every business, whether it's a huge LLC or it's just a small business, are having to lay off people to cut corners, to cut costs, because with the rising inflation, businesses are not profiting in a way that they once were. And I've said this a few other times, going out to dinners, whether it's just, I don't eat fast food, better off staying away from that stuff. A lot of GMO, a lot of, you know what I mean, right? And to fine dining, and the quality of food isn't where it used to be pre-scamdemic levels, okay? So when we look at the statistics of auto repossessions continuing to grow and grow and grow, credit card delinquencies, it tells us that people are putting more and more on their cards because they need to. It's not because they want to, because they have no other choice. So they're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and eventually it's all going to catch up. And like I said, we are just getting started here. And This collapse is going to be so big, it's going to be frightening, okay? This is right out of Austin, which we know is a very liberal city. Short-staffed, and there will be a video to this, short-staffed auto police urge robbery victims not to call 911 as crime ravages city. Austin police in Texas are asking residents to call 311 if they get robbed near an ATM, as the department struggles amid an increase in urban crime and staffing shortages. The Austin Police Department posted a graphic in a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, to urge residents to call 311 or make an online report if they're robbed. 311 is the number usually used for non-emergency requests as opposed to 911. Wow. So if you are robbed, don't bother calling 911. If you're held at gunpoint, don't bother calling them because they're not coming because they're short-staffed. So the article continues to talk about the size of Austin. They should have a roughly 2,000 said police officers, and they currently have 1,475. And he goes on to speak about the reasonings behind it. Obviously, it was defunding the police. It was nobody has the police's back. It was, they can't do their job. If they do their job, pardon me, if they do their job correctly, they can end up being, laid off, suspended, criminal charges being brought against them. It's like we always talk on here about protecting the criminal and not protecting the person, the victim, or the police. We have a problem. It's like, Houston, we have a problem, right? I find that more and more people are really in a very, very tough situation. As I said, people, yes, prices of homes are still inflated, okay? And that's causing stagflation in the housing market. People don't want to sell because if they have to buy another property, they're going to lose their low interest payment and have to pay at minimum 7%, and we're only going to continue to go up from there. So we have serious problems in the housing market. And once this all resets again, but we're going to find that there's really no bouncing back from this economy. When you keep looking at how our national debt continues to grow just about every few hours in this country, logic, common sense tells us there's no way that any of this debt is ever going to be paid back. It's impossible. Nobody can do it. And they know this. We will default. We will go into hyperinflation. And from that point, it's going to be a domino effect, okay? Because the bill is going to come due to our creditors, and we're not going to be able to pay that debt. It's impossible. Okay, you're diversified, but is everything that you're diversified in backed by the dollar? You got to think about that, right? If it's backed by the dollar, pensions, maybe you'll get a pension and maybe you won't. There is always loopholes that companies have with their attorneys in getting them out of paying the people their pensions. So don't rely on your pension to be there. Don't rely on Social Security when you go to retire. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be there. So don't diversify in the dollar, okay? Because we see the dollar is being devalued every single day, every single minute. A person in 2020 that made 100 grand a year, they said the equivalent in the adjustment of the devaluing is now roughly, if you made 100,000, you're making roughly 83,000. That's a huge difference. And everything from that point is going up and the dollar is going down. So you do the math, the scales, okay, it's like once it used to be like this is now like this, all right? So don't diversify in the dollar. be smart. And I'm going to end it here, everyone, because I got to get on over to Patreon. I wish all of you a great day. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone being here, and I so appreciate it. And I got to get to doing my work. It's early, and I just want to say, don't diversify in the dollar. Be your own central bank. Hold precious metals. Don't tell me I can't eat precious metals. Precious metals is always money. No, you can't physically put it in your mouth and eat it, but you can sell it. All right? It's never going to be worth zero. It's God's money, gold and silver. Do your diligence. Do your research. Be careful out there. All right, everyone. God bless and take care.
American dream on hold for now. Mortgage demand fell to a 27-year low last week. That's according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. But it's not just families that are pulling back. Real estate investors are getting out as well. Investor purchases are down 45% from last year. That is the biggest decline since 2008. It also outpaces the 31% drop in overall home sales. Mortgage rates, they currently sit at above 7%, and that has some impact on real estate investors. But many of those individuals make cash offers. The other factors at play for the investor is really high home prices, lack of inventory, and economic uncertainty. All of that is keeping home sales low in general, but especially for investors who are purely in the real estate market to make money. Realtors tell us they noticed the pullback, and it could mean more opportunities for families.
In the history of negotiating contracts, and we pushed forward to 2018, tried to get back under contract. Our city decided to go through what they called reimagining police oversight. And then, we got back under contract, and then the summer of 2020 happened with a huge defunding movement, the riots post-George Floyd. I have over 20 officers indicted for doing their jobs during those riots. And, we just continue to have a city council that doesn't show its police officers that it cares about them.
Well, Thomas, they were trying to reimagine the police department. Nobody imagined that crime would go through the roof. We've got some graphics. Auto theft up 77%. Why bother owning a car? Murder is up 30%. Aggravated assault is up 18%. You describe the conditions for police officers working there as miserable. Why?
Well, we just have a backward slide. We're a growing city, a city that should be up around 2,000 officers and growing right now. And, I've got about 1,475 officers in our police department. And, we're moving in the wrong direction. There's less and less resources to go out and do the job.